crux of the spell, right? Our worry about what other people think.
Absolutely.
Right? And when we worry about what other people think, then we're trying to live within their constructs.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the great white wizard says, be careful building rules, because then you have to live inside of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And
then his followers made so many rules.
yes.
Oh, yes.
And he talked to him numerous times. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yep.
But in their humanness, they had to.
Yeah.
And when people have a lot of walls around them like that, it's because they're afraid to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not really about the other people. It's about them being afraid to get out. That's how I with boundaries.
This is so pertinent.
Interesting.
Right?
They're losing themselves, and
yeah, it's more about them than it is the other people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, it's like a person, I always feel like a person with a ton of like, quote, boundaries, or like a person who's hiding in a closet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or an agoraphobic that never wants to leave their house.
Yes.
Right? I like to think more about what's acceptable to me.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want? What do I like? Right? And I don't think that we spend more time thinking about what other person shouldn't do versus what we should do and what we want. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That was one of the hardest questions for me to ever answer for myself. After doing caregiving with my mom, and I took on the responsibility, and I had the cape to prove it. I mean, I was the martyr the whole way. And then when someone asked me, what do you want? I didn't have a fucking clue.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't either.
I truly had no clue.
I had a lot of words around what I didn't want.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Right? And if we've got a lot of words, back to Florence Scovel-Shinn, right? If we've got more words in the bucket around what we don't want, then that's what we're going to get more of.
Yep.
We have no words over here in the want bucket. Right? And I think that's super.
Yeah, that's a good point.
To sit down and go, what do I want? What do I want my life to look like? What do I want in people around me?
Yeah.
Right? What do I like as far as even my clothes, right? Like we have so much conformity.
Yeah, not just what fashion tells me or what should be, or
But I think that's a big shift in our society, is to move away from boundaries. I just do not like that word. And when and I'm a word Nazi, truly. Like, you know, people, well, I didn't mean to say that. I'm like, yeah, you did, man.
but you said it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, but boundaries, if you break that word, bound are we?
Yes, absolutely.
Bound are we? Right? You keep a fence, you know, I was sitting in my backyard the other day, and you know, I'm looking at this privacy fence, and I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting back here by myself. I can't see out. That's a boundary.
Right.
Most often we can't see out. Right? So yeah, I think that's a big thing for us when we're starting to move out of suffering, is to make time to get in touch with what we want. Like, it was interesting. Like, I sat, when I was first moving into that place, I sat and like made a list, do's and don'ts.
Yep.
My don't list was pages. My
Piece of cake.
Yeah, my do list, like, you know, right? But that clarity changed the people around me. Not my boundaries, not words, because you can say those words over and over and over again, right? Because we don't believe them. It was the clarity in what was acceptable, right?
Right.
And being able to act versus react.
Right.
Yeah.
Huge. We can't do that if we're constantly in the don't column, right? Because
Yeah.
we're being violated every second,
Right.
or feeling so. When we're over here in the do column, you can just go, oh, I don't like that. Boom. And walk on, right? Or, you know, hey, you know, how about if we do this, right? And they are just more like, oh, okay, right? And you can walk on, right? It doesn't, when we're over here in the don't column, everything's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's where all the emotion is, right?
Mm-hmm.